everybody, happy Friday and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is the daily show where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is your Collider Movie Talk crew. First up, senior producer Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video headquarters here in Burbank, California. And I want to be the first to wish each and every one of you a very, very happy today is the day that Batman vs. Superman was originally supposed to be released. July 17th, 2015. This is the day it was supposed to come out. Where is it? Are we going tonight? What's happening?
Also here is writer-director Jon Schnepp.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Can't I don't have a sweater? See ya later. It's a fantastic song.
Next time, bring your mother.
And also Kristian Harloff.
Well, I got one on you. If the original date, we would have already had seen Star Wars and done a whole bunch of Star Wars reviews.
Yes.
July, it was May, so.
All right, so the first trailer for the highly anticipated Alejandro G. Iñárritu film, The Revenant, has just hit the web. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy and is described as follows. In an expedition of the uncharted American wilderness, legendary explorer Hugh Glass, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is brutally attacked by a bear and left for dead by members of his own hunting team. In a quest to survive, Glass endures unimaginable grief as well as the betrayal of his confidant, John Fitzgerald, played by Tom Hardy. Guided by sheer will and the love of his family, Glass must navigate a vicious winter in a relentless pursuit to live and find redemption. The Revenant opens in limited release on Christmas Day with a wide release on January 8th. Jon, what did you think of the Revenant trailer?
I remember it was about 6 months ago and going, wait a minute, Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be in a movie about desperate conditions, survival, and revenge, being directed by the guy who did Birdman. This is going to be his first Oscar. This is going to be Leonardo DiCaprio's first acting Oscar. The trailer comes out today. I'm more firm in that belief than ever. This trailer was awesome. The way the cinematography is done is like just the way they chose their shots and the angles of the shots. It just made you feel the tension and everything. And holy crap, that one scene when DiCaprio's on his horse, like running for his life, and then the camera kind of sweeps in to get a closer look of his face from behind, and he turns his face to look like the terror on his face and the desperation is like, holy, and that shot with the bear, like I'm watching this on a little computer screen, I'm like, and I'm like freaking out. This trailer is incredible. I cannot wait for this movie. One of the best directors in the business today, a couple of the best actors in the business today, shot up in Alberta, Canada. Can't go wrong. This trailer is amazing. Schnepp, you saw, what did you think?
Blown away. I absolutely cannot wait to see this film. Such a visceral experience. The trailer alone, you know, when I heard about it's like he gets mauled by a bear and he's like some trappers screw him over. I thought it was literally from that description going to be him kind of chasing Tom Hardy and one other dude, like just like a very like one person against nature or something. And then you see this trailer. It's big. It's a big movie. Dennis and I were talking about how it's all shot with just natural light.
Yes,
it's just the cinematography once again incredible. So exciting and I like the word visceral to describe this trailer because it truly is. It just pulls you right into the film. So I cannot wait to see it.
Kristian?
I don't know what the movie's about, and I don't care because this movie looks so awesome, and I don't want to know so much what it's about. I know enough from the trailer that I know that I am there opening day. There are directors that are the stars of movies now. Like we've talked about it with Nolan or Vaughn or Tarantino, who it is. You go there because you want to see their movies more than just who's in it or even what it's about. Iñárritu's one of those guys now, too. Yeah. From his limited amount of movies that he's done, because of what you guys are saying, those visuals, man, like in the beginning, that opening battle. And Schnepp, I think that was exactly the point of the trailer, was to let you know this is a big movie, but not just a big movie. This is a movie that's going to have a lot of stakes at it. And I also like when you saw Tom Hardy, he wasn't like a typical that character with the missing teeth and like a gnarly. It looks like, and in the synopsis, his buddy who's hunting him down. The only thing I'm worried about, and I don't know because I don't know what the story's about, I don't want it to be another, Dancing with Wolves or Last Samurai or something like a story that we've seen before. I want to see a new take, and I feel we'll get that. But man, am I on board. This is one of my most anticipated for sure.
Yeah. One of the really cool things when you stop and think about this is when you look at Alejandro's last film, Birdman, I've always said this, and I still believe it. The first job of the director, who has many, many, many jobs, but the first job of the director is to get the best performance and the correct performance out of their performers that they can. And then you look at what we got with Birdman. Michael Keaton, one of, arguably maybe the best, but at least one of the best performances he's ever turned in. You look what he did with a guy like Zach Galifianakis, who turned in, who you could have made an argument for best supporting actor nomination. He just was incredible in this movie from start to finish. You look at what Emma Stone did. You look at what Naomi Watts did. You look at what there was a best supporting actor nomination for
Ed Norton.
For Edward Norton. Right. I mean, now you take that guy, put him into the wilderness with Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio.
And Natural Light.
And all Natural Light. It's almost unfair.
Yeah.
It's almost unfair.
It's a great point, because what actors do, like, actors really respond to their artists, so they really respond to people that they respect, that people they want to work with. And this guy has that, not just level of, okay, Michael Bay's famous right now and making a lot of money, so I want to be in a Michael Bay movie. That's not this. This is someone that they want to work with. I respect, like you said, all the points that you just brought out of, look what he did with Birdman, with a small movie like that. Of course, DiCaprio's going to sign up right away, Hardy right away. And these guys together, I think that Inception's the last time they were together. So I want to see those guys go at it, because you have Tom Hardy, who's kind of like the new guy, and you got DiCaprio, who's younger but still an old vet. So yeah, this movie sounds amazing. It looks amazing.
You brought up a good point. Actors react. They don't act. They react. Right. So that's why he brought them out to the wilderness.
You're so deep.
Well, I'm just saying is why it was such a long shooting schedule, is because he wanted them to be in it.
Yeah.
You know. So, and from seeing all the footage, you see them in it. You see them reacting to their environment.
It doesn't look like a movie. It looks like it's actually someone went back in time and just shot like actual stuff that happened. It looks so real. Like within 2.5 minutes, I felt like I was watching historical footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom line, if you haven't seen this trailer yet, hop on YouTube, search for the Revenant trailer. You'll find it, or it'll probably be in our show description too. So check out down there. Watch this trailer. All right, what's next?
We already know that Jon Watts will be directing the new SpiderMan reboot for Sony Pictures, and it looks like we now know who will be writing it. According to a story in The Hollywood Reporter, the writers and directors of the upcoming Vacation movie, John Francis Daley and Jonathan M. Goldstein, are in talks to write the Spider-Man script. The pair were said to be in the running to also direct the new Spider-Man before it was given to Watts, and have previously worked on films like Horrible Bosses 1 and 2, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, and Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs. The new Spider-Man film is currently scheduled to hit theaters on July 28th, 2017. Kristian, do Daley and Goldstein seem like a good choice for Spider-Man?
Do they seem like a good choice? No. Because you just said Horrible Bosses 2 and
the Burt Wonderstone. Boo.
But we're in a strange time right now. Like, I think you brought this up yesterday. Russo brothers, Peyton Reed. Look what those guys did, So I don't know. I know that those guys are directors and these guys are writers, but it looks like hearing what Kevin Feige said about how it's almost they want to make like a John Hughes movie out of this Spider-Man. I think I would have been a lot more nervous about it about a year ago. But now, and especially too, the other thing that I was going to say, I don't even know if I said it yesterday, I know I thought it, was the fact that as far as Marvel, it's hard to bet against them right now with what they do. It really is, because Ant-Man, for all accounts, and Guardians should have failed miserably, and they didn't. I don't know what Ant-Man's going to do money-wise, but it should make money. So as far as these guys go, if Marvel believes in them, if this director they're working with believes them, and think that they're going to get the best take out of these guys, then yeah, I think it's fine.
I am actually more optimistic about this, because I really like the first Horrible Bosses. I really like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I'm one of the few people who I actually didn't mind The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, although was it as good as it should have been? No. But these guys also wrote and directed the new Vacation, and so far that looks amazing. And they were also in the running to direct the new Spider-Man as well. So I actually think, in the light, and now living in a post-Russo brothers, Peyton Reed, doing these types of films and doing a great job sort of world, knowing that now ultimately Sony is in charge of these Spider-Man movies, but Kevin Feige is now there. He is the producer on this film, along with, I keep forgetting her name, former head of Sony Pictures, Amy Pascal. He's along there doing it with her. So there's a little bit of a new dynamic in there too. As you sit back, the things that Kristian mentioned, I like what they've done so far, seeing what the Russos and the Peytons did. I look at this and think, yeah, this... And considering, I think Vacation looks awesome, although I haven't seen it yet. If it wasn't for Vacation, I don't know if I'd still look at their resume and still go, yeah, I'm optimistic.
Even with the trailer, though? Because what if Vacation turns out to be...
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I haven't seen Vacation yet, but it really looks good. And I talked to some people who saw it at Comic-Con, and they all came out buzzing really well. So I'm going to be optimistic about this. This could be really interesting. Schnepp, what do you think?
Is that the kid from Freaks and Geeks?
It sure looks like him. Yeah.
I'll say, I mean, just if that's really the kid from Freaks and Geeks, I will forgive Horrible Bosses 2, which was garbage. Yeah. And as well as the Wonderstone. You know, Jim Carrey was only like, you know, the shining moment of that film. But you're right. I mean, it really is hard to figure it out just because it's Marvel. When you add Marvel into the mix and add Kevin Feige into it, that's a transformative mixture right there. So I'm looking forward to Vacation. From the trailer, from the casting, everything, I've laughed at every single trailer. So I'm looking forward to enjoying it. The jury's out. It's hard to tell.
It's tough because the conversation in general, I like that this is the conversation we're having because it hasn't been, well, this is comedy. What are comedy guys doing right in a Spider-Man movie? Because they have to go and even look at what Ant-Man's done as it is a heist film. We all can agree that it is a heist film with some great comedic elements. What is going to be the tone of Spider-Man? Like it's going to be different. Like the space opera and Guardians, the spy thriller and Captain America, they have made it their thing that they are changing up. Each movie stands on its own as a different genre. So I wonder what this movie is going to be with these guys. I don't want a straight up comedy with Spider-Man.
No.
He's got to have comedic elements, obviously, because he's Spider-Man. That's part of his charm. It's intriguing.
Spider-Man in many ways it's on the same TV, just on a slightly different channel. In many ways, he's like Deadpool. You know, he talks a lot, man. Spider-Man,
the PG-13 version.
The PG-13, maybe even just flat PG. Yeah. But he yaps and he talks. And I think when I watch a film like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and you look at like the main character in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, that's not far removed from I think a Peter Parker type of character. So yeah, who knows? You're right. The jury is still out. We'll see how this all goes.
What if they went Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Spider-Man, and he was actually addressing the camera and stuff like that.
They broke the third wall.
Broke the third
wall. Like Deadpool.
The fourth wall,
Fourth wall,
I think they'll get some pushback from the fans about that, though. They're trying because Deadpool now just has all this buzz around it. So
No, you're right. If they were going to try, maybe they're going to dampen that now. But.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got? Sinead! We switch them in and out every day. We switch them out every day.
Great face.
Rude.
I said Sinead's going to read them off, and then I said, Ashley, how does my mind work? I have no idea.
Anyways.
Sinead, we know who you are. We know who you are.
Come on, Carol. Let's go.
The new film Legend, the true story of... just kidding. All right. The new film Legend, the true story of the rise and fall of London's most notorious gangsters, Reggie and Ron Cray, both portrayed by Tom Hardy, is set to open in limited release in the U.S. on October 2nd, and has just dropped a new trailer online. Legend is a classic crime thriller taking us into the secret history of the 1960s and the extraordinary events that secured the infamy of the Cray twins. Schnepp, buy or sell the new trailer for Legend?
Buy. I love this. I love gangsters and London gangsters. I love that. I love the craze. I think Tom Hardy. Tom is cray. Tom is totally cray in this film. Tom Hardy, he's double cray because he plays both crays.
He's cray.
It's cray. I don't even know what else to say other than bye. I mean, I think it's fantastic. Watch this trailer. Freak out. It had elements, little tinges of Bronson was in there. I think this is probably one of Tom Hardy's best roles. Just from watching this trailer, he gets to be a dynamic duo unto himself. It's amazing.
On almost any other day, this is easily my favorite trailer I've seen today, but The Revenant came. This is a great trailer. Yeah. Buy this. Buy this huge. I'm watching it. Come on. Doesn't it feel a little bit like a Guy Ritchie film?
Absolutely.
A little bit, way too. And you know, after seeing Armie Hammer play the Winklevoss twins, I thought, okay, you're never going to get a dude playing twins better, because honestly, I didn't even realize it was two separate guys playing that role until after I had seen the movie, or I didn't realize it was one guy playing the two separate roles until after I'd seen the movie. I think this is going to top it, because what Tom Hardy's been able to do here, even just from the trailer, you can tell he's playing these twins and infuse such different personalities into both of them. That line, well, you don't want a war. Yeah, I do. I mean, that was awesome. This looks like it's going to be violent and gritty, but you can already tell there's going to be, like a Guy Ritchie film, there's going to be punches of laughter in there as well. It's really cute seeing it's really good seeing the the girl from Sucker Punch, Emily Browning, I think her name is, who I've interviewed
Lady
a couple
Dawn.
times. Total sweet of a girl. I'm really happy to see her in this as well. This movie looks awesome. The trailer was great, and for me, it's a big buy.
Yeah, it's a huge buy for me. Dennis and I got to talk about this about a week, 2 weeks ago. There was a very similar trailer. But there's a few different things in this one, but I still buy it huge. It is Goodfellas meets Casino meets Snatch meets Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right.
It is Tom Hardy's one of my favorites. That guy, you can watch him do anything. You see him in The Revenant, you see him in this. You believe that those are two different brothers. You believe it because he's not the type of actor just gonna put on, oh yeah, just you superimpose me there and I'll just play a kind of different version. These characters are gonna be significantly different. They look different. Just from that trailer, you can kind of tell, oh, okay, the guy's got the really wacky one's the one with the nose. The business guy is the more clean cut Tom Hardy version. But the one scene I love is they have it in the other trailer too, is when they're sitting there and he pulls out the gun and the clean cover is like, oh no. Like, you're gonna have. It's almost like the De Niro Pesci relationship in Goodfellas. Right. That's why I made that comparison. I can't wait to see this movie. I want to see when Tom Hardy is locked in, pun intended, to these particular roles like a Locke or even something like The Revenant that we're going to see. That's when he's something to watch, and I think that this is going to be a special movie.
Yeah, I don't think they've had an actor play both characters. This reminds me of Dead Ringers, Jeremy Irons, where he played both. Both twins. Mm-hmm. This feels like this might be on par with that kind of.
I go Jean-Claude Van Damme first, and then
and also let's not forget to mention Chris Eccleston.
I go Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito. This is me.
Yeah,
This got a lot of other casts like Chris Eccleston. It's a jam-packed film. So,
all right, what's next?
When the new teaser trailer for the upcoming XMen Apocalypse was shown at Comic-Con, many people debated the look of the title character Apocalypse. Some thought he looked great, others thought he looked awful and reminded them more of a Power Rangers villain. Now, Entertainment Weekly has released new high-res images of the new film, including a cover photo of Apocalypse, Magneto, and Psylocke. XMen Apocalypse is currently set to hit theaters on May 27th. John, do you buy or sell these new pictures from XMen Apocalypse?
It is important to keep in mind when we're talking about just pictures or trailers even, that sometimes when we see them, we are seeing them out of context and we don't understand the context. Look, I'll be the first to admit, when the first pictures of Quicksilver came out for X-Men Days of Future Past, we all, including myself, went, oh my God, that looks bad. But it wasn't until after somebody said to me, John, put it in context. This is the 70s, remember? So what would kind of an outsider who sees himself a certain way in the 70s might look like? And then I went, okay, you know what? Then maybe I can see it. And then when you see it in context in the movie, it totally makes sense. All that being said, sell. This looks awful. Apocalypse looks terrible. I remember before when debates used to come around, we're like, well, why isn't Wolverine wearing the yellow spandex? Because that would look ridiculous on screen. What do you want next? Apocalypse with a big giant A on his belt buckle? Oops. Turns out they decided to put a big giant A on Apocalypse's belt buckle. This looks terrible. He looks like Ivan Ooze. Now, granted, like the Quicksilver situation, once we see it in context, maybe then we'll step back and go, okay, now I see it, and this kind of works, much like it did with Quicksilver. So I'm totally open to that. But if all we're talking about is the picture in the first images, I'm looking at that, and I'm going, that ain't my Apocalypse. So for me right now, it's a sell. Kristian, what about you?
I'll buy Magneto.
Magneto looks good.
Yeah, I mean, there are some pictures that I actually did buy. I buy young Cyclops, I buy young Jean Grey, buy young Storm. I thought Storm
with a mohawk.
That's
awesome.
That's the Storm I knew. That's the Storm that we haven't gotten yet. I'm looking forward to that one. And then you start to get into. I'm not huge on the Nightcrawler one. I think he looks a little too emo for me. I think that Psylocke looks terrible. I think I saw better cosplay at Comic-Con.
Oh, absolutely. The Psylocke costume is terrible.
It looks like cosplay.
Yeah.
And then as far as Apocalypse goes, I actually have even heard of some people that were like on the set that were like, doesn't really look too great in person because he's little, Oscar Isaac. Now they'll probably change that up with special effects and stuff too. That's fine. But I saw some cosplay. Actually, they did like the special makeup for a version, and I remember I showed this to you. I put it on my Instagram of someone who dressed up as Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, and he looked great.
He looked like Apocalypse.
He looked better than this.
100 times better than this. And it just, I don't know what this version is. I don't care if it's the 80s or 70s. Make him look cool. He looks ridiculous. He really does look like that Power Ranger character. It's big. It's a huge sell for me.
All right. I'm going against the grain. I'm buying this big time. I saw the trailer. I thought the trailer was fantastic, and I think he looks like kind of like this weird Egyptian scarab. And I like the design. It doesn't have to look like the comic to me, and this is them trying to do something different. I don't mind that he's smaller. I don't need a 15-foot Apocalypse. So to me, all those changes, and I think all the costumes look great. I think Psylocke looks fantastic. I think when you see her jumping around and moving in that kind of outfit, that's the closest of any of the outfits to the comic book, is that Psylocke. That's closer.
Part of the reason I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's, to me, I think all of the costumes look really great, and nothing about it bothers me.
Don't you think sometimes the comic book costumes don't necessarily transfer over to film and live action?
Definitely. But to me, that one doesn't bother me. And the biggest one, I guess, is Apocalypse. He does not bother me that he looks so different. I think it kind of fits in with the way they're doing the film. I mean,
I got to show you that picture. I got to show you that picture.
It's important to keep in mind, as of right now, Bryan Singer has never made anything less than a spectacular X-Men film.
Right.
He's made 3 of them, and they've all been fan-freaking-tastic. So while I may not like these pictures, you may not like them, and you love them, I think it's fair to say we're still all really anticipating this movie. We can't wait to see what he actually does with it.
2 of them, yeah?
No, 3.
He did
Days of
1,
Future
2,
Past.
and Days of Future Past.
Correct, sorry.
All right, what's next?
So altogether, a lot of new trailers dropping today, including a new one from director Joe Wright's Peter Pan origin story, Pan. Offering a new take on the origin of the classic characters created by J.M. Barrie, Pan follows the story of an orphan who is spirited away to the magical Neverland. There, he finds both fun and dangers and ultimately discovers his destiny to become the hero who will be forever known as Peter Pan. The film stars Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard, Garrett Hedlund from Inside Llewyn Davis as Hook, Oscar nominee Rooney Mara from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo as Tiger Lily, and newcomer Levi Miller as Peter. Pan opens in theaters on October 9th. Kristian, do you buy or sell the new trailer for Pan?
I'm going to tentatively buy it. It reminds me of almost like a prequel to Hook. I love the cast, and I like Hook. I know some people don't, but I don't care. The one thing is I'm waiting for Garrett Hedlund at one point to go, "I'm going to drink your milkshake." Any second, that voice might annoy me, but I thought the crocodile looked incredible. I was a big fan of that. I love Rooney Mara and Hugh Jackman playing a different type of role, and that guy can transform into anything. It takes a special, talented actor to be so enriched in a role like Wolverine, and the only thing most actors, you'd only see him as Wolverine. You can see this guy in anything, whether it's Les Mis or Prisoners or whatever it is, and then he comes back and he does a movie like this, and I didn't see Wolverine, I saw Blackbeard or whatever, or the character. So, and I like the tone. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if I left the movie after seeing him. A little too kiddish for me, but I liked what I saw.
It looks great to me. I buy it. I especially with this trailer, it had this magical element to it that felt like a fairy tale. So to me, I thought all of the shots were really just infused with this magic feeling to it. And so I really 100% buy it. If I didn't buy the first 2 trailers, which I did, I'd buy this one. So
yeah, I got to go along with you on this. I have been more and more impressed with every trailer and things that we've seen from it. And you're right, magic. I felt magic in it. It did feel like a fairy tale to me. I really got into it. I think Hugh Jackman is going to kill this movie.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to be awesome in this movie. But it's been bothering me. What does Hedlund's, what does he call himself? Jack Hook? Or what's
Jack Hook, yeah.
Or James Hook? James Hook. What he sounds like something like, "You got to get us off this island." Yeah. I finally figured out what it is to me. It's a cross between Heath Ledger's Joker and Carl Urban's Bones in Star Trek. It's those two and I'm telling you, that's what it is. Listen to him talk now in the trailer. That's what it is. But overall, man, I really enjoyed this trailer. I think it looks like there's going to be some fun action. I think this is probably going to be a little bit more true to the original, like the spirit of the original text at any rate, because the original text is kind of dark, actually, when you really look at it. So I think that they're pulling it off really well so far. I'm excited about it. So for me, it's a buy. All right, folks, before we get to mailbag, I want to remind you that opening in theaters actually last night, but is now officially open in theaters today, is the brand new Marvel film, Ant-Man. We have our spoilers review up for that right now, as well as our non-spoiler review, which you can see up on our YouTube page right now. Recently, I had a chance to actually sit down with the star of the film, Paul Rudd, and talk a little bit about Ant-Man. And before we get into mailbag, I just wanted to share a little bit of that conversation with you. So here's my conversation with Paul Rudd. One of the things that Marvel has been doing a lot lately that is just wonderful is they take a lot of their leading men and they want them to infuse a lot of themselves into the characters they're playing. Scott Lang is clearly also part Paul Rudd in this, which was so fun and so great. What was the process for you as one of the writers and as the actor in getting that balance and infusing a lot of your own personality into the character?
I think in almost every role that I do, I want to be able to relate to the part. I want to be able to empathize with things the character is going through, and it's not like I'm trying to make every part like me, but some of me is just going to, come across the way and especially if there are moments where we are improvising, or if we're kind of, flying by the seat of our pants a little bit. Sometimes I'll say things, or things will happen that are organic probably just to the way that I think, even though I am thinking like the character. So maybe that has something to do with it. But this role of Scott Lang is a guy who is just a guy. I mean, he's not a guy who was born with superpowers, and that was also one of the things that drew me to it. I thought, like, here's this guy that just, this crazy thing happens to him, and I think that you can relate to him because of that.
I think some people were wondering going in, they thought, well, Paul Rudd is Ant-Man, we know it's going to be entertaining, we know it's going to be funny, but can it also be exciting, and can he feel intimidating as a hero, especially as a hero who shrinks? And what we see, I think, somewhere in Act 2, where you have one of your first main fights in the film, and everybody's like, he totally does. Like, he totally sells this. So you come across as funny and exciting and as formidable at the same time. When you guys were talking about how you want Ant-Man and Scott to come across on screen, and you knew it was going to be probably funnier than most of the Marvel films up to this point, where did you want that balance to be? How did you want to weigh that out?
I wanted the movie to fire on every cylinder. I wanted it to be funny and have moments of levity, but I wanted people to be emotionally invested in this story, and I think they are. I mean, it's a dramatic story, even though it's this amazing comic story, like from the comic book. And then I also thought the action and the visuals would be pretty groundbreaking. I didn't focus on any one part any more than the other, but hoped and thought all of them would enhance each other and bring this thing up to where I thought it could get.
Once again, Ant-Man is in theaters right now. Go and check it out. We all liked it a lot. All right, folks, it's now time for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Every day we take a couple of your questions. So, Sinead, what do we got today?
Peter writes, "Hey guys, it's so great to see how far your show has come over the years. On behalf of all your Australian fans, I'd like to give a big thank you. My question is in regards to The Force Awakens and the heavy focus on marketing practical effects. Whilst it all looks great and is certainly what all the fans want, I am a tiny bit worried that it could be an attempt to avoid showing us aspects that they may not be so confident in, such as the story and character development. I want nothing more than this to be false, but I would just like to know your opinion on the prospect."
Well, the important thing to keep in mind here is we are still 5 months away.
I don't say it like that.
I know it feels so long. We are still 5 entire months away from the actual movie coming out. So what should they be showing us this far in advance? Well, this far in advance, you give us glimpses. You just give us little glimpses. Show us all they really, let's admit it. All they really had to do was put out a 4-second teaser of Han and Chewie standing in the Millennium Falcon going, "Chewie, we're home." And that would have done the job too. But all they have to do at this point is give us glimpses. I have no doubt that when we come around to D23, or whether it's New York Comic Con or something else, look for our discussion on that on Jedi Council. When it comes time for the next trailer, and hopefully maybe the final trailer, I think you're going to get a little bit more of the story. But like I said, at this point, 5 months away. Don't worry about what they're showing us or not showing us in the trailers. I don't know. Kristian is one of the big Star Wars guys that I know. How do you feel about it?
I agree with you, and I think that, look, this is strategic. Everything that they've done so far has been strategic. And you bring up Jedi Council yesterday. One of the points that I'm sticking to is marketing and the way that they are marketing. Wait for September. They have made it very clear. Star Wars and Disney and Lucas has made it clear that September is going to be what they're calling the journey to the Force Awakens. This is when all the stuff inside of the comics and the books and everything leading up from Jedi onto this point start to come out. Through that, you're going to learn more tidbits. You're going to hear blog posts about it, and then you'll start to get a trailer that tells you a little bit more about story and characters. It is strategic, so do not be nervous about it whatsoever.
I'll just add, I think their emphasis on practical effects is they're just trying to say, look, we care about the original trilogy. And the original trilogy was shot with real sets. So we built real sets. We care about models and practical effects and aliens with prosthetics. So we did that. We're trying to emulate the feel, the look and feel of what was so importantly organic and captured in the original trilogy. That doesn't have anything to do with the story. They're not giving away the story because that's one of the most important and fun things when you see this film is the brand new what's going on 30 years later in the Star Wars world. So I don't want to know anything about the story. I'm just happy to see the amazing special effects and how they're doing.
And that's also the first wave of the marketing, is that let everyone know, because one of the main things, and as the viewer had pointed out in his email, was that a lot of people were kind of thrown off from how heavy they were, the prequels were, on the overuse of the green screens and everything too. And this was them letting them know, even with this presentation that they did, these were Star Wars fans that responded to the models and the practical effects and the locations, and that's what they're doing. So more and more, as we piece together things that we will see, are those things first. But then as we get closer to the movie, you'll learn more about story and characters.
You know, the other thing to keep in mind too here is that let's not be misled into thinking, oh, all they're going to do is they're going to do all practical effects. It's going to be all real costumes. No, it's not. I mean, all you have to do is look at what is Supreme Leader Snoke?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Falcon going up in the air.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. There are going to be green screens. There are going to be digital effects. There's going to be a lot of digital aliens. There's going to be a lot of that stuff. But I think what you were pointing out is so accurate. This is JJ telling the fans, because a lot of the fans felt like there was almost an abandonment of the spirit of Star Wars when they went into the prequels. This is JJ saying, we are embracing the spirit of Star Wars. We want to get back to what made it feel like Star Wars. And that's not to say we're forsaking all the modern technology. Oh no, you're going to see a lot of glorious modern technology, but it's going to be pretty special. Don't worry that we haven't seen the story yet. It's going to come. All right, what's next?
Jonathan writes, "Hi, Collider team. Happy to see most of the gang back in action. Don't know if you've heard, but around September, Brad Bird's The Iron Giant will get a digital remaster and 2 additional scenes, all directed by Bird himself in a few theaters, and then a new Blu-ray with it. What do you think of movies that weren't a hit getting a second chance in theaters, even if it's for limited release, and especially for such good and underrated films? Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy."
Yeah, I think they're calling it The Iron Giant, the Signature Edition, I think is what they're calling it. And look, The Iron Giant is one of those just special movies. If you haven't seen The Iron Giant, make sure you do. It is truly, truly a special little film. Here's the thing. It's not really getting a second chance in theater. It's coming out in theaters for 2 days. I believe, and it's not even back-to-back days. It's going to come out on September 30th for 1 screening, and then it's going to come out again for 1 more screening on like a Sunday at noon in select theaters on October 4th. The reason they're putting it back in theaters, though, is really just to help with the marketing push of the Blu-ray and the DVD release with these new re-engineered scenes, a couple of extra scenes that Brad Bird shot specifically for this new edition, all that kind of stuff. So it's not really getting a return to theater, although you can bet your ass. September 30th, I'm going to be in the theater in Los Angeles watching The Iron Giant on the big screen again. And I don't know how many people will be there with me, but I'll be one of them. But it's really just to help with the marketing push. Anyway, Schnepp, how do you see it?
I will be there 100% in that theater with you. I love this film, and I think it was one of those films that it just got skipped over and passed over. And so with this marketing push, more people will become aware of it and see it. Either, a few people see it in the theater, but most people will be able to see it again in a new way on Blu-ray and DVD. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great too, and I think that you're right. I think it's for those hardcore fans that are going to go see it in the theater. But what I also, because it is such an underrated movie, it's a fantastic movie, and it landed in a time where this type of animation was kind of on its way out, to where the Toy Stories of the world and were the dominant ways that people were watching movies in theaters, animation movies in theaters. So it's nice to see this come out to get the push, because I hope it does really well on Blu-ray. It deserves to, and it's a movie that if you haven't seen, and I'm not even kidding, it's not a joke, it's one of Vin Diesel's best performances that he's ever done. It really is, because and that's not taking nothing away. That's a pure compliment. It's an amazing movie, and it should be watched.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider's Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing in AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and of course, your movie ticket information. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Keep you up to date on everything going on in the world over here at Collider Video. And I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting over here, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jon Schnepp and at TDOSLWH. You can get my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, right now. You can buy it. Blu-ray, DVD, digital download. Go to www.tdoslwh.com. And thanks.
Of course, the one, the only, the host of Jedi Council, Mr. Kristian Harloff. Kristian, where can people find you online?
Well, please go to Twitter and Instagram. Look at that Apocalypse picture at Kristian Harloff, as well as Collider Jedi Council. Make sure there's a brand new episode that we did, myself, Mark, and John yesterday. Talked about a lot of great stuff. And all your questions, make sure you hashtag Collider Jedi Council. Get your question on the air. How about you, Susan?
And of course, our lovely host today, Sinead Ashley DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you online?
Yes, you can find me, Sinead DeFries, online, Twitter, Instagram, and everything else at Sinead DeFries, and that's so Sinead.com.
And of course, you can find me on all the various social media channels just at Ashley Campea. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's Jon Campea for Collider Video, and until next time, bye-bye.